Hello again. You're listening to Afters, the podcast where together we dive deep into the world of my favorite artists, DJs, and producers. I'm Anthony Cuellar, and my guest for this episode hardly needs an introduction. I'm so excited to welcome Kilopatrah Jones to Afters, the podcast. If you've seen one of her sets, you know that she gives pure energy and performance from start to finish, dancing furiously along as she plays. You might have caught her set at Mike Servito's party, But Can She Sing? Great name, by the way. At Nowadays, where she played alongside Nina Aviance and Mike himself. At one point, she even joined those late-night dancers during her closing set on the dance floor. She also just played her first all-night open-to-close set at the New York City Sunday party Hot For You. Kilopatrah is currently gearing up for a European tour, so catch her at a party near you. But before that, enjoy this fun and insightful interview we recorded back in June as we both geared up for New York City Pride. We talked about everything from her early days as a teenager, dancing with ballroom legends, to playing some of the hottest parties around the world. And with that, I hope you enjoy this conversation with Kilopatrah Jones as much as I did having it.
Okay.
All right. Kilopatrah, hi.
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm like really excited to be here. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming out here. Mm-hmm. Happy Pride Week.
Yes. Oh my gosh, can't wait. I'm so excited. The carry starts.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, that's a really good starting point, because one question I wanted to ask you is do you have any tips for sustaining the carry, for how do you conserve your energy? How do you wind down in self-care going into a week like this?
Yeah, definitely I would say first things first, sleeping 8 hours. That's really important. Honestly, I'm really big, my friend D actually put me on to electrolyte packs. This is not, no copyright, not an ad. The Cure, I think it's on Amazon or Target or CVS, but literally these little electrolyte pads, you throw one, they're really tiny, literally soup, like 3 inches, really small. You throw them in your bag, you put them in a bottle of water, throw them in juice, whichever. I throw it in liquor. Listen, it's all good. I won't judge you. But the main thing is just all those vitamins and nutrients that you're sweating out. Because let's be honest, you're going to be dancing, you're going to be shaking a little ass, little titty. Oh wait, can we curse on here?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I have to make sure. So yeah, if you're shaking ass, you're shaking titty, you're going to be sweating profusely, and you want to get all those salts and all of those vitamins back. Before you lose them, I recommend your electrolyte pack. Getting, I guess, as not as many carbs as possible, but a nice balanced meal, I would say, for at least a day or two before. And then the morning of, just moving with intentionalness. So taking a nice long shower, paying attention to every part of your body. So I guess you just have that time to practice mindfulness before you lose yourself on the dance floor for the weekend.
Absolutely.
I think that's my tips.
Yeah, those are really good tips. I would add to that, I buy these compression sleeves for my calves.
Ooh,
yeah.
I saw TikTok about that, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm the worst with compression socks. I'm just damn, how do you get these things on?
Yeah.
It was choking me out.
Last year when I went to Movement, my friend introduced me to the travel Theragun, so I'll use that. Ooh. So yeah, definitely electrolytes, a good meal, hot showers.
Yeah.
I wear an eye patch and earplugs when I go to sleep, and my white noise. You gotta get
in your own bed for at least one day.
Yes.
Before Pride.
Exactly.
Yeah. Small things, just girly things.
Definitely.
Damn, I gotta get that Theragun.
Yes. I would love to hear about your backstory. You're a native New Yorker, you said earlier. Mm-hmm. What was it like growing up in New York?
So it was a hustle every day. I was fighting up and down the street. I had to walk 20 blocks for a Metro card. Honestly, it was a different experience. So my family, I'm a first generation American. My family is from Haiti. And my mom and my dad both moved here separately in the 90s. My dad lived in Flatbush and my mom, she lived in Crown Heights. And they met each other, winding down Eastern Parkway, and then I was born. And that's why essentially they moved out to Queens, because you know everybody wants that little like white picket fence, and back in the day that was Queens for everybody. Growing up there, I had like there was a big like Caribbean population, so I was exposed to a lot of like Haitian like music, Dominican, like I would like reggaeton, literally like had Guyanese, we had like soca. Honestly, like it was honestly almost like a bubble. Like the most American music I would hear would literally be like pop music on the radio, and even that was just like circumstantial because it was Hot 97 and 105.1, and you know, like, so I would say growing up, I literally got exposed to everything except for like house music, ironically.
Interesting.
But yeah, I would say yeah.
When did you start to like experience going out growing up? Like do you remember like what places you used to go to or parties or anything like that?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I did have like a little bit of a urge just to get out of Queens and just be like explore like life, because you know back in the day it was just like 106 in Park, and like I wanted to be up in there dancing in the studio in front of the camera. Like I was always just like, okay, like I have to go to the big city. I want to be a cheetah girl. I want to see what's going on, you know? So that was part of the reason why I started traveling to like Manhattan, just like running up and down, like following all my friends and trying to, I guess, essentially just find out like who I was at that point. So that's what brought me to, I guess, like, I forgot the name of the specific practices because my memory is terrible, but I would say like these Delancey street practices. It was literally like in this like school, like gymnasium, like this like, wow. Yeah, literally it was like this Catholic school. It was just like crazy. We'd go and they would invite us there like every Friday night, and I was like 16, literally dancing with people that were like twice my age, but I didn't even really care because I was just so thirsty for freedom and for me to get out of that bubble of like southeastern, well, I would say like northeastern, like Queens, because it's over by like, I would say like Woodhaven area, like a little bit further east than like Flushing. But I just had such a desire just to find something different, because I just never really felt, I guess, amongst my people, even though it was technically like my people of like Caribbean heritage. So yeah, that's what brought me to like the city. And through there, like in the practices, I picked up so much history that they would be like, oh, hey, like, you know, if you're really interested in like this thing in terms of like house culture, you should come with us to Sullivan's Room. And back then I was just like, what's a Sullivan's Room? And through there, that's where I started meeting like a lot of like my OGs, like Mawu, and just like a lot of like black and brown, like specifically like break dancers, black and brown like house dancers, house like dynasties, and just like more so I found out about like Paradise Garage. I found out just about a lot of not only New York City house history, just how much house dancing, house music, and breakdancing and hip hop are very much correlated to each other, to the point like arguably like brother and sister. With me getting that firsthand experience on the why behind it, it just made me go a lot harder. And honestly, at that point, I didn't even know that like, wow, I'm kind of locked in this for life. But it kind of like made that, I feel like I kind of crossed that bridge of just like, okay, like I'm going to just do this every weekend for the rest of my life. And so far, literally, I'm going to be 30 in November. And it's just been 15, like, I guess like 14 years of me just literally like just like partying and connecting with people. But really, I would say it all boils down to just like the trying to continue the joy and the connection to community that I feel like house dancing really brings to me. And it really comes back from those OGs, you know, Delancey Street, just, you know, letting me, this little, like, you know, light skinned, like fat girl, just like literally running around, just trying to be like, yo, I'm trying to get like, oh, show me how to do that. Like all of the queens just like voguing down, and me just trying to like copy them. And I just literally just kept showing up, and they just, yeah. And once I turned 21, I just started going bananas. I was like, ooh, I'm legal now. Cause I started going there when I was like 16. So then that's when I started going and traversing to like Output, you know, that around that time, that's when the whole like New York City, I would say like Manhattan scene started dying, and like I feel, what's that club? I'm trying to remember. It's on the tip of my tongue.
In Brooklyn?
No, Manhattan. It was like really big Pacha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is right at the death of Pacha, and like for the girls who know, they know.
Yep.
Everybody was just like, damn, we out to Output. But I'll be honest, even though like Output had beautiful music, I never really felt the warmth and community that I felt like in Manhattan. So that kind of led me just to be like, okay, well, if I can't really find the vibe I'm looking for, I guess I'll just create it. And that's kind of slowly, ironically, how like I got into DJing, because I was just looking for that vibe as a dancer, and I was just like, damn, I'm kind of just gonna have to like create this. And I took those little playlists and I would bring them around with me to dance practices with my friends, and they'd be like, yo, what's this? Yo, what's that? Actually, matter of fact, just give me the whole playlist. And I would gladly give it to them, because I feel like music is a gift and it's really meant to be shared. But they were just like, you know what, girl, you know, you might as well like become a DJ. But for me, I didn't even really think about that in the I didn't even think about that as an option, because my worldview was so tiny and small from coming from an immigrant family. Like they're literally like, yeah, you know, DJing is cool and all, but you about to be a nurse or what? Nurse or engineer, you pick. That's the only two options. So it was something that like, even though I felt like a natural calling, like I literally didn't even allow myself like the opportunity to even dream, because I was just like, I gotta make sure my family's good. Like I don't want them to feel like they came to America in vain. Like I don't know. I just felt some type of way being like, damn, your mom came to America for a better life and you came to be a DJ? Come on, son. Like, you know, it was just like a small reckoning. So yeah. There was definitely a long way.
That's really cool. I mean, you were basically at the source. Like Sullivan Room was such like room. The heads would go there.
A lot of heads, yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. You're around some really, and you're carrying that on.
That's why like I'm so big on trying to uphold, I guess like bring to the forefront like the history so much, and like because a lot of, I guess, and bring like the OGs in like in either like my radio shows or like the dance classes or like I have like with like Craig or even just in regular like shout outs on like social media, because a lot of these people tend to think of history of just like, oh, that was back in the day, but a lot of these people that I talk about, they're still living and breathing now.
Are you still connected with them?
Yeah. Oh. I literally actually saw one of my OGs last night, like Archie Burnett, like an old way, like literally was dancing with Madonna, literally they have so many different things that I can name on their like resume that like it doesn't even, it would even give them service to like just how much they supported our community, but also was just like living, breathing house history. And although I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'd be like, you know, Miss Spirally, so I could do better with reaching out to them, but I do definitely try to connect and try to not only talk to them, but also like spread the knowledge to others that don't really have the same experiences and opportunities that I've been blessed to have.
In that same vein, is there anyone you want to just like shout out right now so we can
Absolutely. So I want to shout out Nia West. Girl, I love you. She is just honestly like, and she honestly inspires me just to do so much. Like this girl literally taught herself how to play vinyl. She just released like a project underneath like the name of Jackie, which is like phenomenal. I was listening to it on like Jada Lorraine's mix that just dropped like a week ago from There Is No Planet Earth, and just to see her growth not only as a artist but as a producer, it's just a phenomenal thing to watch. I would say if you don't know, now you know. Like she has like releases on like SoundCloud mixes, as well as like a friend called Jackie EP. I would just like check out that single because it is just so beautiful. There's such a void. Like we always say like, oh my gosh, we need more femme producers, but just like what type of like style, like what type of infusion, like, you know, are you bringing as like a femme producer? And I feel like a friend of Jackie just brings such a fresh voice and such a fresh energy that like I really haven't gotten from like a lot of like other, I would say, femme identifying producers that are just so special to me, and I really want to uplift that. because it's just good. Like, it speaks for itself. Like, ain't no, I ain't gotta sell nothing. It's just good. Just listen to the track. So, yeah, that's all I would say. But definitely not yours.
I love it. I love that you're not gatekeeping music either.
Never. We don't gatekeep on this side.
No, love that. So, you've been DJing now for about 8 years, you said? Is that correct? 8, 9 years?
8 to 9 years. It was like a party that I threw in March. And I'm like scared to say the name because like looking back it's a little explicit. But yeah, it was like started with that party, and then from there, literally, oh my gosh, it was like the world's worst venue. It was like a 3-star.
So that was like your first party?
That was like my first party. It was a party I threw myself. And oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna just say, hopefully, so it's called Pussy Power.
That's fine. We can curse in here.
Okay. I was just like, now I feel like it's just like now. But anyways, yeah. So,
wait, what was the venue? Do you remember?
It was a legal ass venue. I'm pretty sure. I don't even remember. It was probably like some guy's like loft or whatever, and he was just like renting it out. And it was like a venue that was like 3 blocks from like what do you call it, Barclays Center. But this was like literally like right as Barclays was beginning to like, I guess, like open, so rent didn't go up yet in that area. But I don't know, long story short, it was like an all-femme party. But for me, I was just like, okay, I want a big dance floor, I want a projection screens, music videos, basically what's the craziest, like most fun thing. And I had a lineup of just like all femme identifying like artists, painters, like we had like a little vendor like on spot, because I was like, listen, I want the girls to get their coin. I had my friend who at the time was also like a really big DJ and like a chef that came through and actually catered like a whole like chicken and waffles like buffet. And then after, it was just me and like my 2 other friends. They're also femme identifying like on the decks. So we're just really giving like, yo, like girl power down. But yeah, I just realized that throwing parties is extremely stressful and not quite worth, like for me, I'm not a business girly for shit. So I was just like, this is great, let's not do this again. But once I caught that bug of like DJing and performing out, I was just like, oh nah, I need this. So that's really what started me on my journey to be like, let's take this seriously.
I feel like you should do like a 10-year and like have that party, like a 10-year anniversary of that party. That could be a fun venture.
10-year pussy power. Well, I could talk because like literally like I'm cool with like everybody who still is part of it. So we could probably do that again, honestly.
Yeah, just an idea.
Yeah, I was like, hey Compton, if you're out there, holla at me. It's the person who owned the venue.
Oh. So in the 8 to 9 years that you've been DJing, is there any like standout performances you've done, or like venues or like milestones that you like can reflect on? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but anything that comes to mind?
You know what's so ironic? I'm like, even though like I feel like I've been DJing for like 8, 9 years, I feel like it's been such a slow and intentional journey. It's like kind of hard for me to like pick one, just because I don't know. I'm a very like, I don't know. I'm just an emotional baby. So like, I'm like, every single one is so important. I'm like, this one taught me how to tie my shoe. It's hard. That's really hard. And then like,
well, one of the big recent ones was Honey Dijon.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like
okay, cool. Yeah, we'll go with that one. So like, Honey. But actually, I can't necessarily say that. All right, Honey was like really huge for me, just because like she is such a iconic person, and just like everything that she does and her music, and there's like so many different things, and I was just extremely grateful and happy just to be blessed with the opportunity to open for her. But one like I would say like gig that's actually really important, I would say, ironically, is Nowadays, which I know everybody's gonna be like, girl, that's around the way, but like for me, playing in the backyard of Nowadays for Juneteenth, literally last week, I don't know, I was literally there for like 12 hours. Like I was there with the janitors, honey D. Like they're just like, baby, go home. But I generally, like, for me, I've literally felt like that was very formative for me. Like Nowadays and Basement, those are like my 2 favorite, like I feel like clubs right now in New York. But the reason why, just because I feel like they literally have raised me up as a DJ. And in the last like 3 years, like literally starting like opening at studio like in basement from like the 12 o'clock hour, or for like nowadays like literally me playing in the backyard, like, you know, dead, like, you know, super cold, like 6-7 hours, just me, like CDJs, no mic, just fighting it out. And then going back to the next time I was playing in nowadays, having like my debut like inside, like with Nonstop, and then experiencing Dweller through Nonstop, and then now like being able to, I feel almost like hit the grand prize of like playing like in backyard, which I feel like is such a gift that was bestowed on me through like Jada, and just like nowadays I just, for me, like it really felt like kind of full circle, and really was like a testament to my growth, like I feel like as an artist, and just a trust in my artistic development. So I was like, those two, I guess, clubs are really good, but I would definitely say, to answer your question, that Juneteenth gig, because I don't know, I was just sitting in the back smoking, just being like, damn, it's crazy. Like it just kind of clicked for me how full circle that was.
Yeah.
So although I'm like, I love you, honey, if you're listening, no shade. But
also the lineup was so great, like all the back-to-back sets.
It was really giving just straight like homegrown, just come here, get down, be sexy. I was running around giving Henny shots and a water gun.
Oh, I saw that on Instagram.
Yes, I felt like a sexy, like military man. I was just like, you want a shot? And it was just really great. It was just like my soft way of giving reparations, you know, in a capitalistic society. But it was also great. We had watermelon, seeded watermelon. We had like food. I was just so mad. I wish I could have got the food. It was so good. The music was good. There was bubbles. There was incense. Like the sun was hot. The music was hotter. The people was hot. Like everything was just so hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just got so sweaty. I just felt like I wanted to just release my inhibitions. And that was the feeling that I was just like, yes, like once again, this is why everything's full circle. It just clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of like DJing and playing a set, is there like an optimal amount of time to play? Like, do you feel more comfortable playing like those longer extended sets, or like, I don't know, I feel like an hour for anybody to DJ would be like so hard to like, you have to edit yourself and condense so much. Yeah. Like, what is your sweet spot? Right
now, I still feel, it's so crazy because I still feel like I'm still a baby. Like I'm still learning. Like I'm in this mid-range, like almost like teenagehood of like DJing where I'm just like, okay, I kind of know, but like I still kind of figuring out stuff. I feel like 3 hours right now. Who knows, it may change, but yeah. I feel that kind of, ironically, being influenced by going out to Europe and just like seeing like out there, it's just like they really want you to take them on a journey. Whereas I feel when I was playing like in America, it was just very much like, all right, hurry up, throw the track on, all right, let's bust it out, all right, let's get it, all right, get off, next guy, like almost kind of just like, all right, next. But when I have more, even if it's like 90 minutes too, like that is like really cool. But I found my sweet spot. It's like a nice 3 hour.
I like that too. Yeah. As a party goer, because you don't feel as much pressure. You can get there in the middle of the set or beginning, or like kind of move around. It gives you space to like not. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good time. And
also, it's just great to be able to take the listener on a journey. I really appreciate a DJ that's able to, as a dancer, just, you know, take me high, take me low, or just take me anywhere that you want to go.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know, music at the end of the day is an aphrodisiac, and like, you know, it's a conduit. And when you have like these little shorter sets, it almost kind of feels like stop and go traffic instead of like a HOV lane, you know?
I'm all for the longer, like 3 hour sets, just because like,
take me there.
I want to see an hour set is just so much. It's stressful as a person that's trying to get to see like multiple people. Because I can't stay in one place in one night. I like party hop a lot.
Yeah, it's the New Yorker, you know? Yeah. But it's just really great too, I feel like even to be on the other side too, like just being able to really lock in. Like I found like for me, like I'm such an anxious person. So for me, it takes me at least like 30 minutes for me to really like, I guess like lock in and just kind of like get into my vibe and see, because it's an energy exchange, at least for me personally, like when it comes to DJing. So like I'm gonna come up in the club and play a track, and I'm gonna be like, okay, like, let me see how the crowd's feeling. Y'all like this? Should I go faster? Is it too slow? Is it too fast? Like, I'm gonna read your temperature, and it's hard for me to really get a good gauge on what I anticipate that you should listen to. If I'm like, okay, well, shit, I only got 45 minutes to, like, you know, get this going. I don't know. I just don't. It's almost like a DJ version of being like a minute man. I'm just like, that's cool. That's just not me. So yeah.
So we talked about like you as a performer and DJ and like the intentions that you set there. As a party goer, how do you kind of talked about that a little bit here, but like how does that change when you're entering a space? Like, are you like, you take a few minutes to warm up? You said, like, I'm kind of like that too. I'm like, I need to just feel out the space. Like, how do you kind of enter the night as a party goer?
So for me, oh my gosh, I am the most annoying person ever. I will literally circle the entire party like a cat, like just trying to be like, okay, do I like this? Does this feel good? I also will try to, I guess, like figure out first, like, where's the best sound that I feel like I'll be able to both like hear a good like unblocked like area of like speaker facing me, or clear sound that I'm able to hear a speaker and or DJ, and then also trying to figure out like a pathway that I'm not getting bumped. Okay, and then also just making sure that, like, okay, checking on my body, going back to mindfulness we were talking about at the beginning of the episode. I'm like, okay, how do my legs feel? Do I want to shake my legs? Am I like want to shake a little ass? Do I want to, like, you know, like vogue a little bit? Maybe I'm feeling lazy, maybe my back hurt. I'm like, okay, well, let's just do some upper body, like checking in with myself to say, okay, how do I want to express the music that I'm hearing through these speakers? Those are my top 3. And whenever like if I'm unable to finish any of those 3 check-ins, I'm like, all right, bro, I'm not feeling it. Let me go grab like a yerb, or let me go smoke a spliff, and like, you know, we'll spin the block and we'll try it again. Yeah. And even sometimes like lately, I just been like, for example, this is another reason why I literally love basement, and like I love nowadays. I feel it's really important just for accessibility to have like seating spaces on their dance floor, like not away, like that I can't hear the music or anything like that. Like basement literally has like a whole, like I guess like, I don't know if it's like a hallway or whichever where they have
in
like
studio.
Yeah, in studio.
Yeah, that little, and you could see the DJ from there.
Yeah, phenomenal. I love it. I spent many times where I'm just like, I want to exchange energy, but I'm not in a space for me that I could really like dance, but I still want to be there. Love that chair, and even the bleachers nowadays. Yeah. Because sometimes I'm like, dang, I really enjoy the set, but I don't have the energy for me to show up in the dancing way. I can only show up in this way, and I feel like allowing people just to like sit and still like enjoy that, even if they're not like directly in view of the DJ, is still really important. So,
and outdoor seating is great. So both venues have that.
Love it. So yes. Oh my gosh. I feel it's really important.
And now a few messages from our friends.
Slouch Studio is a private home hair studio in Bushwick run by me, Chao Pelo. If you want a safe, cunty, and fun environment to get your hair done with a 90s VHS playing in the background, book with me at slouch.studio.
We have to talk about your sets and like how much it's kind of insane how much energy you have up there. Like you're fully you're up there, but you're on the dance floor with us. Like
no, period.
Fully performing. Like how do you like maintain that? And then, you know, sometimes you'll even go out after that and continue dancing.
Always go out. Honestly, I think it's really just because like I got into DJing as a dancer.
Right.
So I would definitely say that like literally like every track I play, literally like if it doesn't make me like dance, then I'm not playing it. Because, girl, if you're not dancing, who else will? You know.
Yeah.
But I also feel I carry like the empathy, and not even the empathy, but the perspective of like the dancers first and foremost. So like if it doesn't make me want to move and groove, then I'm not going to present that to you. And I feel like oftentimes, especially as I've gotten to like bigger and bigger gigs and like traveling to like play a lot of places where like we even speak the same language, oftentimes dancing is really the only way that could be able to connect with other people. And I found, especially like when I went to like Rome and I was like in Scotland, like I was just like literally letting the music just like set me free, and I was just like sweating and hooting and hollering, and there were like so many people at first like scared because they're just like, what is going on? Like, you know, this big black femme, she just shaking it up. And then like as they started to feel the warmth, or maybe just like get used to me like acting a fool, they started also acting a fool. And to see like a room of like, it wasn't even like, for example, when I was in Glasgow, like what, like 50 people, to see a room of 50 people go from like, you know, just like hanging out on their phones to like shuffling to shimmying to by the end of the set, like a full on like little dance party. Like, it was crazy. I've never seen so many people in button ups sweating in my life. But it just, I really appreciate the fact that, okay, even though like I am the ice, I look at it like almost like I'm the icebreaker. Like, you know, when just like, okay, I'm going to show you that you have permission to move your body whichever way that you want to interpret the music as. If you want to, you know, shake a little bit, that's fine. If you want to go crazy, that's completely fine. If nobody else gives you permission, I give you the permission, because a lot of people don't know this, but subconsciously they don't really give themselves the permission to just wild out and let the music express themselves. Like, a lot of people like, I'm not a dancer, but I'm like, you don't have to be a dancer to dance to music.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of just taking that back.
Yeah, no phones on the dance floor. I'm there for that.
I think that also could be a part of it too, but that's a whole nother episode. Like,
so I wanted to ask you about, it is Pride Month and everything, like, and, you know, as we're on the dance floor and we're occupying space, do you have any thoughts around, like, for lack of a better word, like dance floor politics, or like just being able to make space for each other? Like, I'm always trying to like think about the space I'm occupying and like making space for other people. Like,
So my biggest, for me, I always look at it as take a look, like basically protect your neighbor. That's like first and foremost. I had people literally like pass out in front of me, and like I literally caught them. Like, I had people literally be like, yo, like, I can't find my friend. I'm like, okay, like, hey, you don't use my phone. Basically being mindful of the people around you. I would say that's the first. Don't be afraid to talk to people, because oftentimes like, it may be scary, but like, if we're all in this party, even for these 1-2 seconds, like, that's originally like what Pride is for. It's just about like literally protecting your community, because you may be partying together, but like, you never know if that party may be their last. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen to them like, you know, the day after. Like, basically, I would say like, protect your brother, protect your sister, protect just like your sibling, and making sure that pretty much like, you see something, say something. Also, in terms of like you taking up space, I feel that as like a bigger body femme, like I recognize like, you know, okay, I'm a bit taller, and like, you know, I have a lot of my friends are a lot shorter and smaller, being like, hey, can you see, like, say for example, if like we're at a drag show and it's standing room only, I'm gonna be like, hey, do you want to like swap spots, just so that way like we could both see, and it's not just like you deserve to be in the front, it's just so like we both deserve to take up the space to see comfortably. And honestly, just asking questions. Oftentimes, you may not know the answer of like, hey, like, what is the best thing for you? And just asking the question of like, yo, am I in your way? Or like, is there anything that I could do to just make sure that you're good? But also nuance. Like, don't ask me while I'm on the dance floor at nowadays. You know, just like, I'm good, bud. I'm good.
Yeah.
But like, if it's someplace like in a smoking section, or like, you know, in the street, or say like you're in a parade, and like, you know, you see somebody kind of just like, you know, moving like in an odd way, like, trust your intuition and listen to it, and just ask questions. Are you good? Simple.
So shout out to Colored Craig. I want to hear about, I haven't made it to one of your classes yet, but you're both obviously dancers. Do you want to talk about what happens there in these classes?
So it's so crazy. I literally met Craig like 9 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like literally, he's like my cousin for real. We actually met at Honcho last year, and that was also my first Honcho. And literally, I saw them on the dance floor. Phenomenal. Became obsessed, and from there, like, we talked about dancing, and we created the classes. We go over specifically house history. We talk about Paradise Garage, Larry Levan, Levine, and pretty much what it has to do with club culture in New York City today, and the why behind it.
So there's like a talk portion, like an education portion?
Education portion, but I would say it's more so like while we're warming up and running drills, just for people just to be able to feel more of a permission to, oh, I'm not getting the dance steps right. There's no such thing as right when it comes towards house dance, because it's more of an expression. Any expression is always right because it's expression of you.
Yeah.
So basically like validating people in their bodies, and basically understanding like it's more of a, when it comes towards house dancing, it's more of a like what's coming from inside rather than like the outside pushing it back in. But I take care of like more so like the history part. And Craig, I was just like, God bless that man. He's a professional choreographer. So we like runs drills, we do warm-ups. Then after we do, I would say 5 to 7 like bass moves. Then we line up in I would say like lines of like 3 and 4 people, and we just like run drills up and down the floor so they can learn like floor work. And then after that we integrate like I think 1 to 2 advanced moves, show them how to do a set, and then we put it all together with a big cipher at the end, which is pretty much just like a dance circle that everybody jumps in and uses whatever dance moves that they picked up from the class all together. And at the end we try to connect with each other, because I'm just like, hey, like, you know, when this is more so Craig's idea too. I'm like, I love Craig, but he's just like, you know what, don't let the connections you make here end here. Connect with each other, party with each other. Like, don't let the energy that you created here stop here. And yeah, I'm happy to say that like hopefully in the next like month to month and a half that it's good. We're gonna have an ongoing like monthly like meetup thanks to Craig. Yeah, so it's one of those infant stages. It's still really baby, but really excited because I feel like the Brooklyn community needs like a third space to celebrate like club and house music outside of the club
and outside of like drinking and substances.
Exactly. The third space is needed so bad. And I know for me, like going to Manhattan when I was like 16, that was something that like I was really dying for. So that's something like I really feel is like a big goal for me, like being in Bed-Stuy now.
It's kind of almost touching on like what you did. You would go as a 16-year-old to like the church or whatever.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen the classes, but now that I've heard more about it, I might be more a little bit intimidated. I'm like,
so many people, oh my gosh, trust me, so many people hit me up and they were just like, girl, I don't know. And I'm just like,
both of you are such good dancers. I'm like,
which is so crazy because I'm just like, that's what goes to show you, like, everybody always thinks there's somebody like so good, because I look at Craig and I'm just like, bitch, I can't dance with you. Like, I literally in the dance class, I was literally sitting in the back. But it's just so funny because it's just like we're not there to be like who's the best dancer. It's just more about like, here's a couple dance moves for you to, you know, impress the hoes when you go out this weekend. Like, you know.
Do you see people doing the moves out when you're out?
I've seen people doing the moves, and I've seen some of my like classmates out in the club, and like I think that's the best part. It's just like literally when you like literally last night I was at Archie Burnett and I actually saw 2 of my students, and not even my students because I didn't really teach them, but like 2 of my like I guess like classmates, and like we were just like laughing and keying like we're in class together, but then I forgot we're not in class, and everybody was just like in the rest of the club at Jupiter just looking at us like, hey yo,
you started doing formation.
It's gonna be performance. It was like, rain girl, come on over. Like, it's just like, girl, what? And it's just like, no, this is just a couple dance moves that like we learned in a place in a time, and it comes full circle. So just focus on like keeping that energy alive and hopefully getting more new people. We were thinking about also maybe doing like an outside like session too, making it like free or like literally like $1, like literally just to know, so that way we could be able to just rent like a little like speaker or battery, whichever, for the outside. But yeah, we want to make it more like community based. Just it's more about like for the people, by the people.
We talked a lot about house music, obviously, and kind of your beginnings there. Are there any genres that like you haven't quite tapped into yet that you're interested in doing, or are you kind of happy like?
So for me, I would definitely say like I feel like a lot of people don't really know that I have like a love affair with like jungle music and like drum and bass. I was like, shout out to like DJ Storm, literally, and like Chemistry. They literally, I'm just like so inspired by them, and even like Sherelle, like, you know, and just like there's not a lot of like black femmes I feel like in music, but I feel like in terms for like jungle and drum and bass, but you got the Nia Arches and just like so many freaking really good like DJs, and like I feel like for me, like genre wise, like I want to run with those girls more.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say to answer that question, I would definitely say jungle and drum and bass.
Yeah. Bearcat also kind of taps into that a bit.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Every time that like she does a little like she like brings out the little like claw, I'm just like, girl, yes, the children are yearning.
Yeah.
Even like Shy Boy too. I'm just like, oh, every time like they play, I'm just like so inspired by all of them. But even Juliana Huxtable.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I'm offended that like I literally forgot, but Yazis. There's so many people that I'm just like, they just really inspire me. Even like literally, I can't believe I forgot to even say this, but like Courtney, like Rose Quartz, and like that Juneteenth like gig that we played was just, I'm not gonna lie, like usually I guess I get really scared and clamped up to play jungle because I just want to make sure that like for me it's really important for me to breathe and like I guess like feel through it like a jellyfish when it comes to its house, where I still feel like it's such a switch up in energy for me to be able to have, I guess like breathe through like drum and bass. But I just recognize the reason why I just don't recognize what that looks like yet. And that's the reason why I'm still a little more like closed off and reserved, because it's very vulnerable for me. But I do want to get to a point where like my mixes are, I feel as stable or as strong as I feel like I am in terms of like house. But for right now I just feel a little more, I don't know, I'm vulnerable and scared, but I don't know. I think like for next month with my like radio show, I'm gonna do like a jungle like show just to like, you know, keep people on their toes.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I love drum and bass. The only song I ever like produced was like literally a jungle track with like my friend Jefferson. Yeah. So it was like a Queen Latifah jungle flip. So it was just like, you know, love a black woman from infinity to infinity.
We'll drop the link.
Period.
So we talked earlier off mic about your Discwoman mix and how you incorporated a lot of field recordings and stuff like that. I'd love to hear a little more about that.
Yeah, so for me, as like a native New Yorker, I just feel there's so many different nuances that like a lot of people don't necessarily think of when they're talking about New York. And for me, Discwoman, that was the first publication that really like, you know, took me seriously and really gave me the space for me to be able to express myself. So like, thank you, Frankie, and thank you, Discwoman, for that. I would say the field recordings play a big part because I was doing recordings of like the street traffic. Like I'm talking about like 5 p.m. Broadway Myrtle, like, you know, 6 a.m. like downtown 6 train, like, you know, getting the subway announcer, like getting their voice, and I put that like the outro of the mix, and even in the intro of the mix, like you hear somebody like cursing, like this Latinx lady like cursing out like this man that cut her off because he was like, watch where you going, asshole. And I'm like, that's fucking right, tell him. Like just small things like that, or like hearing like somebody's Tio, like, you know, on the 2nd floor, like, you know, apartment uptown playing like salsa music, or like, you know, telling like your homie that is wherever, like, yo, like, I'ma holler at you later. Like, I don't know, just like small like noises or like small moments that are audio only that really remind me of home. I really wanted to bring that to my mix because I wanted to bring people into my world that may not be from New York or are from New York but like miss it, and I just wanted to bring that nuance to that. Like I just wanted to bring that to my music because I feel like without New York there's no meat.
Yeah, I'm curious if you were going to curate like a dream lineup for, it could be a night, a festival, or Kilopatrah Jones Day, whatever. Who would you have?
Ooh, oh my gosh. You know, he asked me this like 20 million times, so I'm still like, yeah, think about it. And I'm still at that, and I'm just like, darn. Okay, so our dream lineup, okay. Oh my gosh, oh, am I gonna say this? I'm so scared. Okay, so of course, it has to be my cousin on there. Gotta be Craig. And then I have to have my sis on there. Okay, you know what? It's gonna be a back-to-back, right? So
it could be back to back or full lineup, whatever.
Full lineup. So of course it's gonna be me and my hitter D, and then it's gonna be me and my cousin. That's also gonna be like playing. It will be like Craig, and then I would play, and then the headliner would have to be Carrie Chandler, with a surprise set from Junior Vasquez.
Cute.
90s Sound Factory Junior Vasquez.
Ooh, yes.
No shade. Okay, a little shade.
No, it's true. I was lucky enough to experience Sound Factory once. I had a fake ID.
Yes! Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I want to be you so bad. Literally, when Sound Factory's closed, I was like 2 months old.
Yeah. You're in utero.
No, literally, I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, I would just gag and I would die immediately. But that is just so much between like Junior Vasquez, that was so formative to me, and then Carrie Chandler, which is very much where I feel I'm heading as like a artist and hopefully maybe producer in the future. So and then literally between like my chosen family, Craig and D, I'm like, Mom, that's perfect. It's tight like a corset.
Yeah. I mean, that would sell out, that lineup.
I would buy all the tickets for
it. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you again so much for coming by, making the time. This is a crazy week for all of us in New York.
You're a child.
And worldwide, I guess. Pride Week.
Pride.
And you have a lot of gigs coming up, so I appreciate you making time to stop by.
Yay. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening. Let's get it. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. This episode of After Us the Podcast was edited, directed, and produced by Anthony Cuellar. Recorded and mastered by Rhino Clark. Original music by Nicolo Bernardi. Motion graphics and art by Waldo Baez. With a special message from Slouch Studios. After Us the Podcast was recorded in New York City. Be sure to follow After Us the Pod on Instagram and SoundCloud for exclusive content from artists featured here and more.